Hey, I'm Greg, and today I'm interested in Harry Potter Wizards Unite. So, if you were to have asked me a week ago, I probably would have been very lukewarm on the idea of doing this video. But here we are, and yes, I'm very excited. I've definitely gotten into it, and I'm really excited to be talking to you about it today. For those who aren't familiar, Harry Potter Wizards Unite is an augmented reality game very much in the vein of Pokemon Go, made by the same company, built off of the game, and so forth. It's really to the point where if you were to think that Wizards Unite was just Pokemon Go reskinned with a Harry Potter theme, you probably wouldn't get run out of town with pitchforks and torches. It's really that close. And if you thought that me talking about this was going to get you out of a Pokemon Go video, well, my friend, you're wrong.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
But how can we talk about one without the other? In fact, they have a lot of the same elements to it. You go around and you collect things. In this game, you are catching little foundables, which are really just stickers that you stick into your sticker book. In Pokemon Go, at the end of the day, you have something. But in Wizards Unite, you are just going out and you're trying to improve your character by getting experience and getting little tokens that you're able to use in dungeons in order to gain more experience and gain skills and so forth. But it's Harry Potter, so you are going to eat it up just like I do, because it's Harry Potter. So again, a lot of the same things are in Wizards Unite that are in Pokemon Go. You have your Pokestops, which are inns, where you go and you get, instead of Pokeballs, you're getting spell energy. And no, it is a mobile game, but spell energy does not regenerate over time. You can, of course, buy more if you want, but really, you have ways of getting it for free reasonably easy, and we'll talk about that in a bit. You also have your nests, but this time they're flagpoles, and you can see a certain family as opposed to a certain species that's going to spawn frequently. You also have your gyms and your raids, but this time they are in the form of wizarding challenges, or you might consider them to be a dungeon or what have you. So I can tell you that my experience right now is I'm still very excited by the game. It's still new. It's a lot like how I was feeling when Pokemon Go first released. I didn't know all of the ins and outs. I'm still finding new things. Now, granted, with Pokemon Go, it was based off of Pokemon Red and Blue, so I knew these are the Pokemon that are in the world. They had a few curveballs, but so be it. Now, with Wizards Unite, I know Harry Potter. I've read the books, I've seen the films, I've played a number of video games, etc. But I'm not really sure of what I'm going to be seeing out there. And they also have the added wrinkle to that, whereas I need to catch multiple of the foundables or return multiple of the foundables for certain things in order to put my sticker in the book. And one of the downsides to Harry Potter Wizards Unite is actually that mechanic of going out and finding your foundables and returning them to your registry. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But again, I'm really loving it, but I think that there's going to be a shelf life on the game, which, again, we'll talk about. So another thing that I think that Harry Potter Wizards Unite has going for it is Niantic seems to be really committed to adding new elements to the game and slowly releasing content. But they're doing it pretty steadily. As of right now, we're currently in the Brilliant Flora and Fauna event, but over the weekend, we also had an event where we got additional spell energy and we saw certain foundables appearing more frequently. So I think that that's going to keep the excitement going for a little while, which is really good. Now, to talk about the things that I feel are kind of downsides, I think that I need to tell you something that I like to share with people when I'm talking about the game in general. I really like that it's so close to the source material. So just think back to the scene from the Deathly Hallows, if we're talking about the film as part 2, or just, towards the end of the book, if we're talking about the novels. Harry and Voldemort are locked in an epic duel. Harry is saying, Expelliarmus! He's trying to disarm Voldemort, and Voldemort is saying, Avada Kedavra! Because he's trying to kill Harry. And they're just having this epic duel. And then Harry says, oh, sorry, hold on a minute. I ran out of spell energy. That's kind of what we're experiencing with Harry Potter Wizards Unite. People are just running out of spell energy because there's an imbalance between the number of casts that it takes to catch a foundable and the number that we get from going to an inn. Now, we are definitely having the same problems in Wizards Unite that we had in Pokemon, whereas if you are in a big city, you're sitting pretty. But if you're in a rural area, things are few and far between, and how can you play if you don't have the main resource, which is spell energy? You need to have points of interest, which if you're in a rural area, things are so spread out, and you might not have those cultural centers, the artwork, the historical landmarks that you have in a big city, where you are literally tripping over them. Well, not literally, forgive my millennialness. So you really have that imbalance, and I think that that's something that's going to work against it. Hey guys, Future Greg here. I have a feeling that you're going to be seeing me a lot in the upcoming videos because it's really difficult to say everything I want to in one take. I go in afterward and I figure out, oh, I really wanted to say this, but I didn't. So at least until I get better, you're probably going to be seeing me at least once per episode. So yay, nay. It is a necessary evil for this video at any rate. So what I really wanted to be talking about that I forgot was that in Wizards Unite, there are 4 different types of buildings. 2 of them, I believe, are inns, just different versions of inns. There's also the towers, and there's also the greenhouses. Now, for me, greenhouses are not useful. I can find potion ingredients out on the ground, out in the wild. I don't need to grow anything. I also find the concept of growing something to be counter to the spirit of the game, where you're really supposed to get out and walk around. And if I have to basically sit there for 30 minutes, it really is counterproductive. Now, I understand that we have dark detectors, which are very similar to lures, where really, if you're just kind of parking there for 30 minutes, you're finding new things. But in a greenhouse, that's really all you get out of it. In Pokemon, when you have a lure, you every 5 minutes get a chance to spin that stop, which can replenish your Pokeballs and keep you playing. You really don't have that same analog in Wizards Unite, because a greenhouse, yes, occasionally you can get spell energy, but most of the time you're just getting ingredients, and since inventory management is a problem for most players early on, it's another strike against it. The other real big problem that I find is that the greenhouses take the spot of a lot of Pokestops. So in an area where I'm kind of expecting that I could go and find an inn where I could replenish, I can't. It's basically just a wasted node for me. Now, maybe my opinion will change as I continue to progress in the game, but right now it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to be using those. So I mentioned previously that there is a shelf life for this game, and maybe you'll see it differently than I will, but I see it as definitely coming, and I don't know how long into the future that it'll hit me, but in the registry, we have different pages. We have little groups of 5 or 6, or I think there was one that was just a group of 4 foundables in the various the various families. And once you complete the stickers, get enough fragments to put it in there, and you do all of them in that page, you have the ability to prestige it. That will erase your stickers. You'll have to redo them, but with a higher count of fragments. For example, Borgin and Burke's, I had the hand, where you only had to get one the first time around, but second time around you need to get 10, which is a little bit oppressive, but I guess to a point it makes it so that I would actually be interested in catching that hand again. I don't know. But I feel like that is just going to make things very tedious. Yes, you get additional experience, and that's really how you're going to level up and get to those higher levels. But if I'm just doing the same thing over and over, I don't see that I'm going to have much interest after a certain period of time. With Pokemon, at least you had a little collection. You could see, oh, I caught this guy at this time, and oh, I can interact with it, I can poke it, or I can put it in a gym, or what have you. But you don't have that same level of ownership, or really that same driving force in order to go out and just recatch the same things over and over and over. And again, I think that most people are going to grow tired of it, and I think that the number of people who are playing in a year is going to be much lower than today. Now, that happens in most games anyways, but I really think that this game has a shelf life. And don't get me wrong, I really hope that they're creative in ways of retaining their players, but we'll have to wait and see. Well, there you have it, Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'd really love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you been enjoying the game? Have you been really frustrated by it? What's your experience been? Have you been finding really cool things out in the wild, like that Whomping Willow I found? Oh, yeah. Hey, if you know someone who you think would enjoy this video, please share it with them and get them in on the discussion as well. And also, what's been interesting to you lately? I'd love to hear from you. All right, guys, I will see you in a few days.